Steve Moran here, and I'm today talking with my friend Nick at CareQuality, and we're going to spend a few minutes talking about the things that impact happiness at work. But before we actually do that, Nick, I want to talk just for a minute a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So from a high level, CareQuality is basically a high-tech, high-touch communications and experience management company. In short, we provide resident and staff survey solutions, just different mediums to gather that crucial feedback to increase staff engagement and, all important, the retention as well as recruiting nowadays.
Great. So you've done a lot of where you obviously you eat, drink, and sleep this whole resident or employee satisfaction, and you've identified three things that are really critical factors in helping to have happy team members. Can you talk to me about what those are and what we do with this?
Yeah, I think it all really stems from one of my favorite leadership and staff culture and engagement books. It's called The Truth About Employee Engagement. And in that book, he talks about three things, as you alluded to. Number one is anonymity, irrelevance, and a term he made up in measurement. So anonymity, people want to be understood and appreciated. That's the foundational thing to employee engagement and happiness. They want to be known for the unique qualities, and they want to be known by somebody in authority. Oftentimes it's the executive director, regional, or maybe upper management, recognizing them. And you can do that with all sorts of different solutions, which we can talk about. Irrelevance, people want to see the connection between their work and the impact that it has. So that comes down to making sure that we're providing training. We make sure they understand the impact that it has, whether you're the janitor or whether you're doing high-level care. It all makes a difference in the senior living space. And the last one is in measurement, being able to quantify and understand the difference in the contribution that you make, whether that's the amount of smiles you collect on a daily basis or whether you can actually quantify that with reducing falls, whatever it is, being able to quantify and measure the impact that you have for the senior living community that you work at.
Cool. So can we talk for just a few minutes about how you make improvements in each of these areas? Do you have maybe one or two ideas for each one that we can sort of talk about? I always love it when we can give people something where we can say, you can go out and do this tomorrow.
So anonymity, I think that's just recognizing the people that you're surrounding yourself with on a daily basis. So if you're the executive director or head of nursing, whatever it is, giving the kudos and the pats in the back and engaging people in more personal conversation. Maybe, how was your weekend? Or is everything okay? Just being that human connection, I think it helps with anonymity. And just being approachable, being open, having open doors, saying, come talk to me about any issue that you have, whether it's personal, whether it's work. Wide open. We can talk about anything. There's no repercussions. I want to hear your voice.
Yeah, this is just so important. I hear people talking about how they'll be walking down the corridor and their executive director or regional person or even their department head will walk right by them, and it's like they didn't even notice them. Yeah. And I get why it happens. It's easy to it's easy to for people to get busy or distracted, and you may not be thinking about it. But you're absolutely right. This is so critical. So let's talk about relevant. You have irrelevance, but let's talk about relevance. How do we make somebody relevant?
That's to even the most cynical employee, they want to know that their work matters to somebody. I think the residents and the family members, they're always pretty grateful of the work that the caregivers, the dining staff, the maintenance, everybody, all the work that they do. They're very boisterous about that. But I think it's even more important from leadership to say, you know what, you're working hard. This is very stressful. We may be short-staffed. We're working extra, having to do maybe some housekeeping tasks, whatever it is, and just recognizing the work that they're doing and showing them the impact that's having on the population.
Could I maybe put it this way, as sort of a simple way? Then I use this a lot in my own organization, and that's that one of the messages I want to be carrying, because it's true, is that our organization is better off because you are here, and we're doing a better job of making the world a better place because you're a part of our organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think to dovetail that, being very specific about what they're actually doing, to really pinpoint it. This isn't just speak. This isn't just patting your back. I'm genuinely happy with what you're doing, and these are the specifics as to what I'm happy about. And thank you so much for that.
Yeah, perfect. And then let's talk about this word that isn't a word, immeasurement. What does that mean, and how do we do that?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what comes down to training, making sure that whatever job function they're doing, they offer robust training. In the surveys and the interviews we conduct, we hear so often that I was just thrown out onto the floor and just kind of expected to learn on the go. That's not going to lead to employee engagement and happiness. That's going to lead to probably a good amount of anxiety and job distress. So training, making sure they understand their job function, what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And that dovetails into clear job expectations. This is your job description. This is exactly what you need to do. Here are all the details. And then providing that constructive feedback based on those expectations. So your job is X, Y, and Z, and this is how you're performing exactly in X, Y, and Z, and providing that constructive, useful feedback.
And so part of that becomes, here are ways that you could do it better, or you might try this, or so many things that you can do, because everybody wants, I mean, I believe that everybody, maybe not everybody, but most people want to be good at what they do, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and this all starts with knowing where you're at, and that's really what you do, is help people gauge how well you're doing in these areas, right?
Yep, exactly. So we're a communications company, provide survey solutions, and we survey at critical touch points. So we do text-based surveys shortly after a new hire, just kind of touch points to say, checking in, how are you doing? Are you being acclimated? Are you being socialized? Are you making friends? Are you comfortable? And then after 45 days, we do a live phone interview to really have an in-depth conversation, which pulls out a lot of comments and context as to their happiness or dissatisfaction in their current role. And then that, of course, is turned into actionable feedback that you can use to improve not only that person's job, but also the entire culture at that community.
Yeah, and I really like that a lot, right? Because if somebody is feeling a way about their job, it's probably true for others in the organization, not just the person you're hearing from or talking to. So
the data is pretty consistent. If you look at a community, you look at other key metrics, the data and the feedback is fairly consistent if there's dissatisfaction.
Cool. So we're going to drop a link to your website in the comments on this video, and I appreciate your wisdom here. I have this great passion that senior living should be this place that everybody should love coming to work today, every day, and doing surveys like what you're doing are really, really critical to making that happen. So I appreciate your passion and your commitment to teams in the industry.
My pleasure. Thanks so much, Steve.